This is a loaded comment. The relationship between Joel and Ellie defined the original game, just as its absence defines the sequel. You do still have some parts with Joel, like the museum sequence, which is one of my favorite parts of the whole game. But yeah, this is a sad game, and you
Does Dunkey not realize that the fact that these flashbacks that have nothing to do with the actual base narrative of the second game, like they're basically just they're completely absent from the main story. You know, the main story is like you are in a vengeance to kill Abby, right? And your favorite part is the flashback. Like, I fucking love that flashback too. That was my favorite part of the game. That was everybody's favorite part of the game. You know why? Because it was Joel and Ellie. Why didn't they just give us another game with Joel and Ellie? That's just my thing. No, but we fucking waited 7 years to play a game that was fucking Ellie after Joel dies in the first hour of the fucking game. Like, he has to see, like, the fact that there's something narratively wrong if the flashback is the one, your favorite scene in a fucking... It took me 40 hours to beat this game. Then again, I was playing it on, like, grounded mode, or, like, survival mode, because grounded mode didn't come out at the time. But I was playing on survival mode, so I kept dying all the time. But I was fine with that. But, on a fucking 20-plus hour game, your favorite one was a flashback that had basically nothing to do with the actual events that happened in the real narrative, of the real gameplay, like, narrative where it happens, where you're doing the vengeance. Like, there's an issue with that, you know? Like, there's an inherent issue with that.
really do come to miss that character dynamic. Then there's Abby. The biggest trick of this game was to make Abby work as a character. How do you humanize her without hamming it up and turning her into a hero? Oh look, it's Abby's dad. What a great guy. He saves zebras. Also, he's gonna cut a little kid's brain out. I won't let you take her.
Why is the fucking... Why is it tweaking right now? Look at... Do you see this? I bet the quality's gonna be so trash. This whole video is gonna have such trash quality. At least the video quality of me and my face is gonna be decent, right? Like, you can see my pores probably, right? My imperfect face. It's not even working. Relax. See, look. 1080 60 FPS? Does this look like 1080 60 FPS to you? Yeesh. Let me just come my chair up a little bit. Oh my, this is terrible. This is dog shit. Do you see the way the mouse... It's like the mouse is lagging. Like, when the mouse is lagging, you know something's wrong. Like, I just gotta stop this recording. Okay, it's working now. Thank you.
Never mind. Joel shot her dad, and that's why she's evil now. But she's not evil because she loves Owen, but she doesn't give a fuck about Owen. She just wants to kill Joel. But look, she pets a doggy until she throws his ball over the fence. There are sympathetic things about her and horrible, repugnant things about her, and you just kind of sit on this moral teeter-totter. You fight this fucker zombie monster in the basement. You walk on a balancing beam between skyscrapers. You battle through this nightmare inferno. You end up going through so much stuff as Abby just to save these kids that eventually I went, damn.
After all we've been through. Everything.
Tommy!
It can't be for nothing.
See, but the thing about that is that nobody cares about those characters. He was talking about, like, after all we've been through or whatever, you know, it's just like Last of Us 1, you know, you take care of these children or, like, these people and everything that you go through and all the hardships, and now you're all buddy-buddy with them and, you know, now you love them, right? No! No! Because they're well written! Like, you could say, look, he's making such shallow arguments because you could say this is like the base, like the very basic, like, form of storytelling. You know, like, oh, people go through hardships and then they, you know, like, they get along at the end. That is the most basic of basics in fucking storytelling. So no shit that's supposed to happen. And not only just that, it's like that's a given, right? But even when this game does it, you don't care. So they have failed. They failed at something so basic. Because you don't care about these characters. Like when the fucking I don't even remember their names. Like I don't remember the Hispanic guy's name. No, hijo de puta madre, un tutor. Like, bro, I'm Hispanic, bro. Like, I want my people to be represented, bro, in video games, like movies, everything, bro. Like they really like unless it's like a Spanish, like a Hispanic film, they're rarely gonna show Hispanic like in a movie or fucking video game. So when they had a Hispanic doing this, and I was like, okay, cool. But his one personality trait, he's just saying puta, hijo de puta, cabrón. Like, so what? All Hispanic people are just one-dimensional people that just like curse in Spanish and that's it. They just like, and I like how this game is like trying to like push that agenda where it's like, oh, like don't womanize women or whatever. Women can do anything, but then like the people who defend this game are defending like the guy, the Hispanic dude. I completely forgot his name. Like it's a blank. It started with an M, Miguel or something like that. That's how little of like a fucking, like his death meant nothing. Like it was nothing. Like he was such an unimportant, like uninteresting, like one-dimensional. He's talking about two-dimensional characters like in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Let's talk about one-dimensional characters in this game. Like nobody has a personality except for Abby and Ellie, but all the side characters, like, forget it. Like let's take a look on Ellie's side. Jesse and Dina. Those are the new characters. It's not fair to compare the old characters because the old characters we learned from another game. That's not fair. So let's do the new game, the new characters they introduced, right? What about Jesse and Dina stuck with people? Fuck anything, you know, like Jesse's death was so like anticlimactic. It was realistic. I'll give it that. It was realistic. You know, you could just die by a gunshot at any moment in real life. You know, like, and that's it. You're dead. You fuck up once and you're dead. It's realistic. But it's just like nobody talks about Jesse at all after that. Like he ceases to exist after that bullet. They fucking shot the bullet a time from Gungeon into his forehead, and then that was it. That was all there was. Bye bye to Jesse. He just went to oblivion. Like, nobody cares about Jesse anymore. That's just how weak of a character he was. He died and people were just like, oh no. Anyways. Like, that's it. And then Dina. Okay, I remember I hated Dina so much in the beginning of the game because she was the reason Joel died. Like, if they didn't smoke weed and, like, fucked around and that shit. And I know there was a fucking thunderstorm, but they really could have, like, found a way to, like, not even do any of that shit and, like, went back. You know, the thunderstorm could have, like, went out by that time anyways. And not only that, Jesse found his way over there, not even knowing where the fuck they went, in a thunderstorm. Jesse, one guy, they had two people that could do it, and Jesse did it himself. So every time they couldn't find their way back to camp, like, and then they just decided to fuck around and smoke weed, like. But regardless of that, I've actually turned around on Dina. She wasn't so bad of a character. Like I hated her in the beginning, but you know, as the game went on, I was just like, it's whatever. That's how uninteresting they are. They're just so not interesting. Jesse had like a couple of like lines, like in the optional conversations that were more interesting than anything they put in the cutscenes. Like, I remember there was this one, he was like joking around with Ellie or whatever. He was like, what, so you don't date Asians? He's like, gosh, you know, he's like, they're just joking around or whatever. It was a funny thing. Like, that was a good piece of conversation, a good piece of dialogue. Everything else is just so, like, bland, so like, dog shit. There's no other way for me to explain it. It's just uninteresting. Like, you don't care about the well-being of these people. In fact, you stop caring about the well-being of Ellie too, because she's doing some really stupid shit in this game, and you're just like, what the fuck have they done to my character? So they managed to make the good games from the other like the other entry worse in this one. Except for, I was gonna say except for Joel, but because Joel's a beast in the flashbacks, but the way they did him so dirty, it's like so unlike Joel. It's like, that's the thing too. Like people are like, oh, Joel wasn't the same person. You know, Joel was a lot more kind-hearted, like I said earlier. But in the flashbacks, what I saw was good old Joel defending Ellie. That's what I saw. And you know what? This man took out an entire bloater with a machete. You can't tell me he wasn't the same beast. And that was only like 2 years ago from what happens now. It was 2 or 1 year ago. It was close. Like even Lev, like being his like Lev has no good reason. Like it's so. I get it. He's trying to express himself, like, you know, he or she used to be a girl, but now she's trying to identify as a boy. That's fine or whatever. But what the issue that I have with that is the placement in the story. It's like it forces you to like the game forces you to like learn about him. And it's just like, you know, every game is going to have like situations where it's just like, you know, oh, you get to learn more about that person because of a situation they were in with the main character. Now you learn more about the side character, and you know the side character is a lot better now because you know him well, you know, whatever. But it's just like the way it's like, I remember there was that one dialogue where it was like, oh, are you a girl? It's like, do you want to know? And then Abby's like, no, or something like that. And she's like, no, like, okay, then don't. It's just like, that's so forced in. It's not. It doesn't feel like they don't feel like real people. They just feel like people that were written.
Did you hear what they called me?
Yeah.
Do you want to ask me about it?
Do you want me to ask you about it?
As an author, I think the best thing you can do is forget that these were people that were written and like confuse the line with like people that were written and people that actually existed in real life. That's the best thing you can do as a writer, because then people are like so like invested in that character that they just don't even see him as fictional anymore. They see it as like someone who lived, someone who was an actual person in real life. That is the most powerful thing you can do as an author. But this game doesn't do that. It just feels like people reading like a book. Like it's just so bland. Even the main bad, I hope they talk about the main bad, like not the main bad guy, but I hope they talk about Isaac. That motherfucker who just fucking had like, I swear, all the new characters only have like a couple of lines. This man probably had like 4 lines. He was supposed to be like the big bad guy or whatever. Every note talked about Isaac and his like, and the wolf and how they were like building up in the ranks or whatever. Oh, Isaac, I hope you can forgive me for fucking up Isaac. I hope Isaac's okay. And then, guess what happened to Isaac? Fucking shot in the head by Yara, like, that's it? Like, you see Isaac, like, what, 3 times in the game? For a whopping total of, like, what, 3 minutes? And that's what I'm saying, like, like, these characters are so disposable. They're not people. And Owen's a fucking idiot, like, cheating douchebag. Like, why did they make us care for Owen? He was cheating the whole time on his wife. He was doing some very unloyal, like, shit, like, he's, like, doing some stupid... 11 Yarrow were alright, though, comparatively. Let's continue.